And then torn at the seams. 1-7 omens. Let's do it. This path, never to be seen again, travels farther and farther away. Conversations up to this point will be set in stone. Yeah, I'm not gonna change anything. It seems you have gotten used to how things work in this place. I think we're ready to progress, don't you? Didn't realize we weren't, but thank you. Whatever is the matter? Afraid of change? No, I just literally just said that I hoped for change. You don't have to be. Nothing will change right away. Yet, when I look at you as you are now, it's as though you are dogged by society's rules and regulations. Maybe? Maybe that's why I like escapism? And something that's immersive? Do you plan to side with the Façade? At this rate, I might. No. Nothing. Ignore me. Something unwanted comes this way. This way comes. Yes, it's that Façade. Let their words in one ear and out the other. There's no need to heed them whatsoever. I, however, will be off for now. Come back whenever you go. Cool. Ooh, I'll watch that. Yes, I will. We'll be back in a jiffy. She's gone! So if I... I don't have options. We meet again. Wait. We meet again, my lost child. I have been watching each choice you make. You cherish conformity and live the right way. Whatever the hell that means. Do not be swayed by the mutterings. Oh, okay. So, are you Façade? Walk on unerringly. You must not stray. Do we get an option to stray? Until we meet again. Never forget. Choose based on logic. Do I really want to do that? Oh, you're back. Let's do it. Chasing the ideal. I have a confession to make. I quite enjoy these talks we have. Oh, she's lonely. Been alone here for such a long time. Such a long time. At first, it was just a way to kill time. I wanted to learn more about another person, the first I've ever met. But now, it's like a reprieve for me. Reprieve? Meh. Doesn't seem that way. Really? I'm just not very expressive. Now, I'm gonna ask you 12 questions. Let's do it. Don't think too hard. Answer quickly and honestly. Are you punctual? Yes. Does your mood change at the drop of the hat? Nope. Do you take action before thinking? Sometimes. Sure. Yes. Do you prefer quiet solitude? I do. I love my quiet time. Do you like bustling places? No. Do you enjoy the unexpected? No. I mean, that could be good, but like, normally when somebody phrases it like the unexpected, it is usually negative. So, no. Do you consider things systematically? Do I? Yeah, I kind of do. Do you prioritize the past over the future? Heck no. Do you have difficulty empathizing with others? No, I don't. Do you prefer to make a splash in life? Yes. Would you say you're a dreamer? Yes, I would. Are you the type who doesn't get jokes? No, I'm not. Yes, you're. Alright, what's wrong with me now? Let's do it. Your ego ideal is respect the severe, judgmental. You esteem rules and regulations and make no room for compromise. That's not really true. This stringency extends beyond yourself to others as well. How about you loosen up every once in a while, That kind of attitude leads to fear of failure and a fixation on the past for both you and others. One might say you're a hopeless perfectionist. No, I don't think so. And I don't really expect perfection from others. I hold myself to a high standard, mostly because I don't enjoy failing publicly. So like I have to make sure I'm perfect privately, or that's how I used to be. But failing publicly and getting that feedback right away, you advance just so much quicker, and the people that are willing to do that, like that between that and like just the grit and endurance somebody has, like, it takes them pretty far. No, this one I don't see at all. Why? Because I'm punctual? Here's the thing about punctuality. Like, you could earn money back. You could earn a lot back in life. Or you can make a lot back. You can't make up time. So if you're consistently late to things, then that's, you're taking away something that's very precious and that I can't get back, and that's a very frustrating feeling. So, I mean, take it what you will. I will say I expect that out of people, but I don't think that's a perfectionist way of thinking of that. I think that's called being an adult and valuing whoever you're meeting, their time and the effort that they put into doing whatever. So yeah, whatever, I guess. Quite a revelation. No, not at all. It doesn't. Understanding one's own heart is not such an easy thing to do. That's not strange at all, actually. Most of us don't understand why or how we think. Like, if you ask somebody why they feel a certain way or think a certain way, it's going to be a very difficult thing to answer. Like, you could just watch a bunch of Dr. K podcasts and learn that, like, it's a struggling thing to figure out exactly why you feel a certain way, or you think a certain way, or you perceive things certain ways. It's not surprising. I think everybody knows that the hardest person to get to know is yourself. The same goes for me, of course. I don't know myself at all. You are lonely, but you're also murderous and cold, so you know what? I don't know. In fact, I probably know even less than you do about my... Yes. Well, come back when I get you go. See, isn't it good I grinded? Where were I? Mind discombobulated. Let's do it. The Playhouse. I had a strange and sudden thought that my words, my deeds, and private thoughts were following a script someone prepared for me. Do I even have a will on my own, I wonder? You know, it's really funny, because a lot of neurosciences, like, states that our brain will, like, chemically kind of make a decision before we consciously think of the thought to make the decision. So there's kind of an argument to be had about if we even have free will. I forget what it's called. Maybe I'll throw it in here if I find it. But not just for you, you narrated character. Do any of us have free will? Perhaps I am someone else's mindless puppet. Perhaps I'm the only one who doesn't know it. This is so meta. It's just a thought. I don't really believe it. Oh, you poor soul. You need to take it so seriously. It was inspired by something I read in a book. It stuck with me, for some reason. Could I ask you a question? Are my words truly my own? If you want them to be. No, they're not. Are my words truly my own? That might be reassuring, but like in an honest to God, like analytical thought, I don't know. Like, you don't know what you're gonna say until you say it. It's like word vomit. I will be optimistic for it. They are, I'm sure. Yes. Yes, they are. Yes. Yes. I'm... strip away all my security. You do? The more you come to know yourself, the less I seem to know myself. I see that now. Please don't kill me. You're like my shadow. As my shadow grows longer, I end up... No. That's not right. If anything, I must be your... You shall be away from where you go. Oh, the villain! That's exciting. That's exciting. So where do I have to grab... Oh, you know what? I did mean to show you guys this. So I did finish some books, but all the things that's coming out is these guys right here. And we call it a good room too. I plan on looking at them for No Longer Human. So The Fallen Buffoon. I read a little bit of it, I think at the very, very beginning. But a novella, which means to be pretty short, I could probably read that. Featuring a guilt-ridden, self-conscious protagonist eventually led by ruin by his afflictions. So Diaz committed suicide after that, so I wonder if it was more about him than not. God, I wish I remember the author who was severely depressed, and I think it's a short story author, but he wrote a short story, like, from the perspective of a depressed person, and, the readers didn't like the protagonist. They thought that that person was selfish and egotistical and self-absorbed, and he committed like suicide shortly after. But he was actually talking about himself, and like it's a crazy thought to think that the people that adore you are also the people that may not after they learn about who you are. Okay, so we click. So, mine have been such a life of shame. We've seen that many, many times, I'm sure. I can't even guess myself what it must be like to live the life of a human being. It wasn't until I was quite big that I even saw my first train. Society, don't you mean yourself? Came to the tip of my tongue. But I held the words back, reluctant to anger him. Society won't stand for it. It's not society. You're the one who won't stand for it, right? If you do such a thing, society will make you suffer for it. It's not society. It's you, isn't it? That's kind of profound, actually. Well, yeah, I guess we're the ones who do make the rules and kind of like gives it the positive or negative connotation to a thing. What's the anonym of crime? I said, fame, tranquility, crime. What's the anonym of crime? This is the hard one. The law, of course. Haruki answered flatly. I look at his face again. Caught in the flashing red light of a neon on a nearby building, Haruki's face had the somber dignity of the relentless prosecutor. No longer human. God, I ask you, is non-resistance a sin? I had wept at that incredibly beautiful smile Haruki showed me, and forgetting both prudence and resistance, I had got into the car that took me here. And now I had become a madman. Even if released, I would forever be branded on the forehead with the word madman, or perhaps reject. No longer human. I have now ceased utterly to be a human being. This is dark. So that was the first one. Damien. To Break One Shell. A novel by Hirose Hase in which protagonist English Sinclair, motivated by his mysterious friend Mac Damien and his mother, engages in self-discovery. Carl Jung, of course, is a great personality psychologist. Probably among other things, but that's just what I remember. I've always been a seeker. I cannot call myself a scholar. I have always been and still am a seeker, but I no longer do my seeking among the stars or in books. I am beginning to hear the lessons which whisper in my blood. Inconsolable, I walked across the empty square with hands in my pockets. Further torments and slavery. I have reached that point in my thoughts when a deep, cheerful voice hailed me. I was startled and began to run. Someone was pursuing me. A hand fell gently on my shoulder from behind. It was Mix. The bird is struggling out of the egg, it read. The egg is the world. The egg is the world. Whoever wants to be born must first destroy a world. Whoever wants to be born must first destroy the world. The bird is flying to God. The name of the God is called Braxis. Only yourself, your own fate. At such times, I would look into myself and see the image of my destiny in the staring eyes. They could be full of wisdom, full of madness. They could glow with love or dire or evil. It was all the same. You could not choose. You ought not to want anything. Only yourself, your own fate. Did I finish this one? The Moon Over the Mountain. Yeah, I did. Glutted with Cowardly Pride, a novella, but I'm now going to try to butcher that name, in which failed poet Zing comes to terms with a transformation into a tiger. Unlike the fable upon which it is based, the novella focuses on eternal distress at his transformation. What the look? This low rank chaffed his pride. A bright young scholar from Longses passed its top civil service examination. He was soon to be official. However, obstinate and pompous as he was, this low wake chafed his pride. Leaving his position almost immediately, he returned to his hometown, cut off all social interaction, and devoted himself to poetry. Rather than bow to vulgar officials, he wished to etch his name in history for years to become a legendary poet. No one understands his feeling. Oh, how dreadful, how miserable, how sad. I've forgotten what it's like to be human. No one understands this feeling. No one. They could not, without going through the same thing. My cowardly pride and haughty shame. I was convinced I was gaining fame through my poetry, so I didn't bother seeking out teachers or peers to exchange ideas with. On the other hand, I didn't want to lower myself to interacting with worldly people, and so this is the result of my cowardly pride and haughty shame. Yeah, the thing is, if retreating yourself is not necessarily a bad thing, but when you stop sharing ideas, you lose your view on the world and the world around you. I've degraded into such a beast. This is what I should have said had I truly been human. I degraded into such a beast because I was more concerned about my meager poetic achievements than I was about my freezing and starving wife and children. Yeah, that's a little rough. Did I finish this one? I did. The Metaphorphysis. Transform into a horrible vermin. One morning, when Gregor Samsa woke from troubled dreams, he found himself transformed in his bed into a horrible vermin. He lay on his armor-like back. As he lifted his head a little, he could see his brown belly, slightly doomed and divided by arches into stiff sections. In a difficult situation. You're well aware that I'm seriously in debt to our employer, as well as having to look after my parents and my sister, so I'm trapped in a difficult situation, but I will work my way out of it again. Please don't make things any harder for me than they already are. And don't take sides against me at the office. Hearing these words from his mother made Gregor realize that the lack of any direct human communication, along with the monotonous life led by the family during these 2 months, must have made him confused. So before, he had taken great pride in how considerate he was, but now it hardly occurred to him that he had become so thoughtless about the others. What's more, there was now all the more reason to keep himself hidden. So, I think that's the last one. I definitely didn't finish this one. No, not yet. I'll read that when I finish it. So the Metamorphosis was Franz Kafka. I actually never read anything about Kafka, but I've heard a great deal about him. Thus, The Spare Dream of Vermin, a novella by Franz Kafka. Upon waking, Gregor Samsa finds himself metamorphosized into a dreadful insect and monstrous vermin. Kafka's 3 novels, The Missing Man, The Trial, The Castle, remain incomplete. Oh, that's where I've heard of Kafka. I started reading The Trial. It's incomplete? Okay. The only one. The villain. Let's do it. This will be where we end up. Good, Annie. I like you here. I think here looks cool. You're not like staring me down. Can't be defined in black and white. And that's why one interpretation becomes so important. I'm fascinated to see how you will interpret the story. Oh boy. The story's about 2 little girls who obtain some poison. The nature of the story depends on how you interpret it. Are you ready to answer a few questions? They made it, no, they stole it from their parents, and a nasty wizard gave it to them. They made it themselves, is what I think. They need it because they're planning a murder, simply curious about it. They didn't have to wind up with it. They needed to plan a murder. They trust each other like family, they're partners in crime, they're too alike to, they trust each other as like family. How will end? One phone be, no, the twins will be punished for attaining, the twins will poison their parents. Probably that. Having succeeded in the poisoning, the twin enjoys freedom. That was quite a story, thank you. Sometimes it takes fiction to reveal the truth of reality. Allow me to interpret your story next. Okay, let's do it. What depressing, awful thing are you gonna say about me now? So, I am pure rebellion. Your hidden contempt is deny, self-driven conformity, pure rebellion. You have no intention of hiding your rebellious nature regarding that which you have been taught. You long to escape your shackles by any means. You're also very pure, connected to your own inquisitive nature. You never forgot what it's like to be a child. You intend to thoroughly investigate whatever catches your fancy. You're like a kid stuck in a rebellious phase. Don't be in a hurry to grow up. I like you this way. I dig it. It's really funny. Because as a child, I was super serious. So I think growing up, I'm trying to indulge myself a little bit more. But I will say freedom is so big. Freedom be just kind of yourself, and the freedom to choose your own career path, and the freedom to be happy, man, and the freedom to choose the people that's around you, and that means a lot. I agree with that. I'm pretty okay, especially now, more than I ever have been. Okay with myself and accepting of who I am instead of putting up a facade to be who somebody else needs me to be, which I still do occasionally. I'll put myself away and be the analytical, almost tactful person that people need me to be when I need to. But other than that, I think I have a really big artistic side that I'm just now allowing myself to indulge in and to explore. So we're going to accept this outcome. As that facade appears evil to me, so too must appear evil to them. Might I ask, which of us is evil in your eyes? My apologies, that was an awful question to put you. After all, I'm the one who just said there's no definite answer. What could I ask? Really, put it out of your mind. I'm afraid of the answer. Oh, I really kind of want to answer it though. Like,